Hello, my name is Mario Carrion. In this episode I will share with you my thoughts about the first year of Killzone Shadow Fall, what I believe was an interesting year for a great franchise and the evolution of a fantastic, balanced game. Together with the PlayStation 4, Killzone Shadow Fall was released on November 15, 2013 in North America. Since day one it included a balanced competitive multiplayer, full of features and customizations, good enough to last more than one regular year with an active fanbase. Its release was especially important because obviously it was one of the first titles available for the new console, and especially one of the original PlayStation 4 exclusive titles together with NAC. As a heavily focused competitive multiplayer game, it introduced something that for current standards sounds extremely uncommon, something practically extinct in video games nowadays: free DLC, especially free maps for the multiplayer. If you have played other games with non-free DLC that include maps, you know how complicated the whole cycle of maps in DLC is. Either other people don't buy that DLC and you cannot find any servers using it, or people do buy the DLC but eventually they stop playing and you again can't find any servers. In the end, same result, a total waste of money. When I heard the news of free multiplayer maps in Killzone Shadow Fall, I was pleasantly surprised, especially because I know Killzone is not a popular franchise, and I know gamers are hard to please. So in my naive mind, I believe this was going to be the year of Killzone, and I was thinking new people coming from other gaming consoles will enjoy for the first time a great game with a balanced multiplayer that offers something that other games did not. The competitive multiplayer was not the only thing included in Killzone Shadow Fall. Co-op was also part of the equation. It wasn't included on release date, but it was eventually added to the game. Bundled in the Season Pass or available as a standalone, it definitely allowed you to experience the Killzone universe in a different way. And again, similar to the competitive multiplayer, the maps in the co-op are also free of charge. It wouldn't be fair if I don't mention what I believe are the bad things in Killzone Shadow Fall. Stuff like glitches, lag, and for some people, a confusing way to explain DLC in the game. However, again, Guerrilla Games was always open to dialogue, and they even have a feedback system, where you could submit your proposed features and ideas. And the truth is that some of them were implemented and are already available. And let's don't forget about the forums where people are always ranting, and again the developers are most of the times interacting with the fans. Now, about the DLC, confusion was perhaps the biggest problem. So you need a season pass for the multiplayer maps, right? No. Then why do we need a season pass? Why the co-op is not included in the base game? Oh wait, I thought you mentioned free DLC. We need to pay for co-op. I believe here the wording was the problem, and how all of this new digital content was announced and presented to everybody. It wasn't clear what you were getting by default and what you were getting if you buy any DLC. Another thing I heard a lot as a complaint is the limited number of weapons in the game. And in some sense I kind of agree with that. Having to use the same stuff over and over eventually gets you and you get bored. But if you have played other games with a higher variety of weapons, you know how difficult it is to balance those. It eventually becomes a cat and mouse game, where people are always trying to find the god weapon. The developer patches it and the cycle repeats. It never ends. After this whole year, and then more than 2.1 million copies sold, according to Sony, I truly believe the current version of Killzone Shadow Fall is a great one. Not perfect by any means, and people won't agree with that, but that's fine. However, I do believe the game ran out of steam rapidly during the first 6 months, and features heavily promoted like clan support and co-op were a reason of this. And it's a shame because even with a direct communication between developers and fans, and for being a AAA game, Killzone Shadow Fall became irrelevant kind of fast. I feel like if Killzone Shadow Fall wouldn't have been a release title, the story of its first year would have been different. But that we will never know. And that's all I have to say about this first year. I really hope we can see a new Killzone game soon, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider rating it, and if this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe for more Killzone content. In the end, what are your thoughts about this first year? Please let me know in the comments section below. Recall, my name is Mario Carrion, and as always I say thank you for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Until then, take care.